Assalamualaikum Doctor, I'm Afiq Azmi, 21M1740. I'm going to talk about my article review, which the title is Livestock Shortage Amidst COVID-19, A Case of Brunei Darussalam by Siti Fatimawati Pihindato Musa and Khairul Hidayatullah Basir. COVID-19 has significantly changed the way the world works. It poses an unparalleled threat to the food system. With the closure of borders, trade restriction, as well as confinement measures, farmers are not able to access the market, and with that being said, they are not able to purchase inputs and sell their products. As a result, this has caused disruption in both domestic and international food supply chains. The main objective of this article is to determine the contributing factors of the livestock shortage in Brunei during COVID-19. I chose this article because we have seen the devastating impact of COVID-19 all around the world and how it altered the food supply in countries. However, there is only little information and research that was done or published related to Brunei Darussalam context, and this paper will definitely help me to understand the challenges that faced by Brunei during COVID-19. From the article, there are a few points that the author noted as the factors that resulted in the livestock shortage. The first one is there is an increase in demand. Secondly, the authors have associated the livestock shortage to the increase in the cost of logistics. Thirdly, it's because of the increase in the cost of feed. And finally, due to the climate change. The author also have recommended a few suggestions, which include strengthening the research and development to enhance the development of agricultural industries. The authors use secondary data analysis, where they use several literatures from the Google Scholar. However, since COVID-19 was relatively new when the paper was made, they have used and rely heavily on grey literature resources, such as the government documents as well as newspaper articles. They have selected 10 journal articles as well as 14 grey literature documents that are related with the topic COVID-19, livestock, and food shortages in Brunei. The authors used the available data, and from the data gathered, they analyzed them and made a conclusion. So from the findings of the research, they have identified the factors that lead to the livestock shortage in Brunei, and some of the factors include increased demand, increase in the logistic costs, increase in the feed costs, and uncertain weather due to climate change. The authors also mentioned that the government faced a formidable challenge in not just resolving the current shortfalls, but also mitigating future dangers, and hence, the authors have suggested a few recommendations for the government to increase the food supply, especially in the livestock industry. This study has enlightened the reader and demonstrate what we may learn from the livestock shortage in Brunei Darussalam. No one would have expected that there would be food shortages here in Brunei until COVID-19 occurred at the end of December 2019. So according to the authors, the increase in domestic demand for livestock was due to border limitations that compelled people to remain in the country, hence increasing the demand for food. I also would like to add that there is still a great demand for food even after the COVID-19 cases has decrease and the government has started to ease the restrictions. I believe that this is due to the fact that the limitation has been lifted and the government has permitted the public to organize big events such as the weddings and also gatherings. Such large gatherings necessitate a great deal of food, and as a result, when events such as weddings are conducted everywhere, there's a significant demand for food. In my opinion, this research is highly valuable since it is not only identifies the causes of livestock shortages during the COVID-19, but also presents potential solutions to the problems of food shortages in general. This research has a number of strengths and also weaknesses. So one of the obvious strengths is that it can serve as a wake-up call to the authorities in Brunei, prompting them to consider alternative ways to increase the country's self-sufficiency. It is not only important during this time, but it also helps the government to think of strategies that may help to overcome the problems and solve the issues that occur in the food supply chain during this pandemic. Not only that, this paper also can help the locals to be prepared for any possibilities that could harm their productions, which directly affect the food supply. In general, this paper is well organized and its structure is straightforward and easy to follow, making it simple to comprehend. The presented subheadings are arranged in a logical manner and their analysis of each of the topics are understandable. Even though this article is useful for the government and also the Bruneians, the situation is only based on Brunei and cannot be generalized to all countries. Hence, this paper may not be for everyone. In addition, as the research is about the causes of the livestock shortage in Brunei during COVID-19, The authors have cited climate change as one of the causes, despite the fact that there is no correlation at all. Although it is true that it does have an effect on the food supply chain, it is not necessary to include it because it does not have any connection to COVID-19. So as for the methodology, it was too brief, and the authors relied solely on the grey literature, which did undermine the credibility of the paper. So furthermore, it lacks primary data and relies exclusively on secondary data. As a suggestion in terms of the methodology, a qualitative method would be more suitable in this case, and by interviewing the SMEs and large enterprise level, researchers will know the type of food or necessities that are in demand during the COVID-19 pandemic. So from the primary data gathered during the interview, they will be able to deduce the conclusion and present the results to the associate authorities so that the next steps can be taken, which include diversifying those products that are highly in demand. Aside from interviewing the SMEs and large enterprise level, researchers can interview the farmers because they are the one who provide the goods in the first place. So to conclude, this article has emphasized both the government and also Bruneians must devise a strategy to ensure food security and find ways to achieve complete food self-sufficiency without relying excessively on imports. The article can serve as a wake-up call to Brunei's authorities, urging them to examine alternate strategies to increase self-sufficiency, despite the fact that the study's findings are intriguing. A few modifications to the method and approach used will be necessary to further support the findings in this study. That is all for now. I thank you.